First off, I would like to say thank you all for joining tonight. I'm just briefly introduce myself. Jen Sullivan. I am School Programs Director here at LetGrow. I speak to educators like you daily who are interested in our free school programs. Tonight's conversation will focus on the LetGrow experience. I'm going to provide you an overview of that program, the K through 8th version, and just a little bit about the high school version. They have a lot in common, but naturally some differences that make it truly adapted to the age range you're using it with. So I'm going to provide that overview, and including some suggestions and ideas about what that delivery or scheduling might look like, some of the different possibilities. And this program, as I mentioned, is completely free. So after I do this, we should be done in about 30 minutes with this overview, a little bit less. What I'll do is share with you a link to our online quick form that we have you complete so that I can share with you that complete folder of materials. All of the materials exist in a Google Drive folder, which you can access directly from that folder on demand, or you can also just copy all of those materials and upload it to your LMS if that's easier for you. That access link gives you everything you need to get this up and running in your school, whether it's just something you're piloting as a classroom teacher, or you're thinking about it for your whole grade, or perhaps your whole school. And believe it or not, we are talking also to districts who are adopting it district-wide, which is really exciting. After I give this overview, we will have an opportunity for a brief question and answer period for any questions about the curriculum itself, questions about implementation that might apply to your setting. I will ask people to any questions you may have throughout. If you could put them in the Q&A and not in the chat, that will ensure that I do see your questions and hopefully can get to all of them at that point. And as I wrap up that overview part with you, what we'll segue into next for anybody who's interested is just an open conversation for people to, again, practitioner to practitioner, kind of have that conversation about all of this, including, I think we may have some attendees tonight who have implemented the program already. So sometimes that can be a valuable person to again, hear those stories, those successes, maybe struggles, and your takeaways from their own implementation that they've been doing, in the last year or two. So, and again, thank you so much for your time. So at the heart of the LetGrow experience, whether this is the elementary version, which we say elementary, middle, K through 8th version, or the high school version, is really this idea of assigning and encouraging kids on a regular basis to go out and do something independently, something new to them that they feel ready to do independently without their parents, but as we say in the K through 8th one very clearly, but with your parents' permission. At the high school version, we really, encourage teens to have that, keep their parents in the loop about what they're up to there. But that piece about, checking and get mom and dad's permission before whatever it is you decide to take on is really baked into that K through 8th. And so what we give you as the school are the materials to easily assign that on a regular basis, and also peripheral materials to introduce it to your parents, to familiarize them with the program, with the benefits of that, and what their role is going to look like over the course of the year, which ideally is about them doing a little bit less, stepping back so their child or teen can step up a little bit more. So what that kind of in-school piece looks like is a little bit different between the K through 8th version and the high school. So I'll start by letting you know a little bit about that K through 8th version. So in the classroom, we say it takes about 15 minutes twice a month to deliver the program. You can spend more time on that if you'd like to. That's really completely up to you. That opportunity is there, but you really can do this in about 15 minutes twice a month. Yes, as we say, this is a school program, but it's really a parent program because this is really about giving you what you need to reach the parents in a very gentle, supportive way, encouraging them and emboldening them to kind of, like I say, do that, step back a teeny bit to get them a little bit more comfortable and normalize that letting go a little bit to truly allow their child or teen to flourish. So in the K through 8th version, each month there is a different set of materials for each month, September through June. Naturally, that will work August through May or whatever your school year, the way that may play out. But there is a different theme for each month. All of the themes are around building independence. The first 2 months, 2 cycles, the kids start off with get out of your comfort zone, then spread your wings. Literally, that broader theme there is independence. And then over the course of the year, the broader themes are service, responsibility, creativity, leadership, and exploration. Themes that you're probably already talking about in the context of some of the other programs you're doing there at school. And so that first 15 minutes in the classroom is an opportunity to introduce that month's theme. We give you a brief Google slide deck to do that. And as I said, it is designed for K through 8th, those presentations. They're really mostly imagery, a little bit of text. So that really allows you to gauge that conversation to the ages and stages of the students right in front of you. And that introduction presentation builds the students' understanding and excitement about what that month's theme is all about, and gets them to start thinking about what they might choose to do for their Let-Grow homework that month. And to backtrack a little bit on that delivery, who is delivering it? That's really up to you and your school, what works best for you. Some of the ways we hear about schools implementing this, it's the classroom teacher is doing it during morning meeting, or it happens during advisory period at middle school. At high school, there's an even wider variety of setting, and I'll speak to that a little bit in a moment. Some schools, the school counselor is already doing a drop-in, so the school counselor takes it on. So it's really up to you. I've even heard of one school where the school counselor is there and doing that introduction piece, and then the classroom teacher is doing that second 15 minutes in that monthly cycle. So lots of flexibility to kind of fine tune it to what fits for you in your school. So after that introduction presentation and that conversation with the students, you assign the Let-Grow homework, and we provide a monthly project handout for that goes home at that point. It's a single page. You can send it home digitally or hard copy. It works either way. One side is for the student, one is for the parent, and that is really to encourage and ensure that conversation is happening at home. That the student is checking in with mom or dad before they're, taking on, firing up the stove to learn how to cook eggs for the first time, or whatever it is they're doing. Because typically the students are pretty enthusiastic and often flying out of the gate on this. So it's just that nice reminder, like, have you talked to mom or dad about that first? There on that handout, there are a couple of prompts for the student, a couple for the parent. They are really nothing formal they need to fill out and turn back in. It just kind of scaffolds that conversation. What's also included on that handout is an overview of the month's theme, so that the parents are seeing that every month. And what's also linked to that handout is a whole list of what we call project ideas. Those are really those activity ideas for families to choose from each month. And that list is really for inspiration. Families can choose from that list or come up with something on their own. This could range from, I walk the dog by myself around the neighborhood for the first time, or like I said, I learned how to use the stove and cook an egg for myself. Older kids might decide to venture out a little bit more. Maybe they go on their bikes with a couple of friends and go get pizza, a mile or two down the road for the first time, doing that on their own with an adult. Maybe they're going to do an errand, maybe, a 6th grader splits up with mom and dad and goes and tackles this in the grocery store while, mom or dad is doing this other errand over here. It's really very flexible what those choices are. There's truly an entry point for everyone. So as we all know, no two students, no two families, no two settings are alike. There are a lot of things that can dictate what is an appropriate choice for a given student. And this was really structured to allow for that and to accommodate that. So the students do their Let-Grow homework. And then after they've all done it, that second 15 minutes is an opportunity to come back together in the classroom for the students to debrief that experience. It's really just an opportunity for them to share what they did. document it, and more importantly, reflect on and celebrate their growth. They are changing, and from these small, simple experiences. I mean, these are really just those giving them the gift of those opportunities to practice more of initiating and directing themselves, building that frustration tolerance. When the stakes are lower, it's easier to make those fumbles and mistakes and work through all of that uncertainty without getting overly anxious about it. When the stakes are lower versus, when you're 26 years old. And so this is kind of that practice they need. And just, it's also just engaging them further in the real world now, not just later. So we provide for that reflection conversation, an optional reflection printable. It's a fun leaf shape. There's also a stone one, like Stepping Stones to Independence. Take your pick. They're really just serve the same purpose, but what it gives you is something that can serve one as a brief activator for that reflection conversation. It also gives you something to cut out or have your students cut it out, right? To use in a classroom or hallway display, which is great. Visibility is great to really sustain that engagement and excitement around the project. It's an easy way to disseminate the project if you're looking to expand it, beyond a certain classroom or grade. Anyone who's passing by in the hallway and sees that Let Grow display, whether it's a tree full of leaves, which is what we see a lot. I saw one school put one long vine down the hallway, and they've been adding their Let Grow activity leaves to it throughout the whole year. That was a very dramatic way to do it and really highlighted the progress. It was like one giant progress bar. It was pretty exciting. So it's an easy way for anyone passing through, whether that's other students, teachers, or parents who may be participating or maybe haven't yet. It really gives them a wonderful snapshot of what the Let Grow experience is all about and what everybody's been up to with that, and really the impact that it has. And so it also too gives students something very tangible to see all the things they and their peers have been trying out. And for many students, it can help broaden the possibilities they consider for themselves, because when they see those in the hallway, they're seeing even more than what they might hear in the context of that reflection conversation in class. So that is the general for the K through 8th version, that monthly rhythm and routine. And what's wrapped around that are to bring the parents in, there's a parent introduction packet. It is just a couple of pages. You can send that home digitally or hard copy. It works either way. And that it just gives parents an overview of what the Let Grow experience is all about, how you think their child could benefit from it, and what they can expect for their role over the course of the year. You might see that word Let Grow project. This is not the type of project where families need to run out and buy a poster board or kids writing reports, none of that. This is really very different from their other homework. And this is the type of homework where parents are actually encouraged to be pretty hands-off, to allow kids that opportunity to take on a little bit more independence and responsibility, and for the parents to get a little bit more comfortable having that trust in their child to do that. In addition to that introduction packet that you can share with parents, we also provide an optional parent introduction presentation. It's a brief Google slide deck. You could use it as is or customize it, which is true of many of the materials in the folder. That is a great option if you are have the opportunity for your parents all together at the beginning of the year. For example, back to school night or curriculum night, you might do at the beginning of the year. That's where we see schools using this. And again, it's another opportunity to kind of have a powerful in-person way of introducing this. And it can really help underscore the collective action nature of this. That's really the beauty of having this as a school program. Yes, we do have materials available for parents who are interested kind of one-off. They can get from our website, which is great, but there's nothing like the power of like a community collectively doing it, because it helps parents kind of, look left and right and realize, okay, this is what's normal. This is what we're doing. And that's kind of the goal here, right? It's yes, it's about getting kids having more of these opportunities, but it's really about more broadly helping to open students' and parents' eyes to the abundance of opportunities day to day for students to, like I say, take on a little bit more independence and responsibility, and really grow their confidence in their competence to engage with the world now and as they grow older. And so in addition to those parent pieces, the other wraparound pieces in that K through 8th folder is teacher and staff materials, just a couple of brief Google slide decks that makes it easier for you to share it within your building if you need to do that. One provides an overview of it from that educator perspective, and the other Google slide deck is just a walk through those monthly materials that I described and what that rhythm and routine looks like. What's also included in that folder is some done for you newsletter copy, optional, of course, that you could use as is or customize. And it just makes it easier for you if you're looking to kind of maintain your Let Grow news over the course of the year. I will say I encourage schools to do that, because what we're hearing is where schools have done a lot with visibility of the project, whether it's, sharing during student announcements occasionally of what students have been up to for their Let Grow homework, or student announcements, in a student assembly, or there's something consistently in the newsletter, this is this month's theme. Here are a couple of examples of, what students did last month. That visibility had a really powerful impact on engagement with the Let Grow experience. And another piece that's included in that folder are some optional survey questions. If you were looking to collect some data or evaluation for your own purposes, you can use those pre and post questions. They are for parents and students. You can use them as is or drop them into an existing survey. And that's generally what's included there. Back to that piece about monthly, what gets delivered in the classroom. We have made it as streamlined as possible for whomever may be delivering this in the classroom. So we created in there a set of documents called the monthly dashboards. You'll see a note about it, but it's really just a set of single-page Google documents. And what that gives you or whomever is delivering those to the students is kind of one-stop shopping to have what you need to do those 2 15-minute sessions monthly. So for example, November, a teacher can open that November dashboard. There is an overview of November's theme on there, and there is a link to that month's introduction presentation, a link to that monthly project handout, and a link to that reflection printable. And the reflection printable is the same each month, but it's just kind of putting everything at their fingertips in one place, so that there's no rifling through 5 different folders for them to get what they need to do that. They can open just that dashboard and have everything they need to deliver in the classroom. So that is generally what is in the K through 8th. And on the high school one, what is similar, again, as I said, is about, encouraging students to have these experiences. What's different there is, rather than the monthly themes, students are given this document you print out for them. We call it the Independence Inventory, this booklet. And this is really just a collection of activities, experiences, and life skills that are very appropriate for the high school years. Things that we would hope most high schoolers are experiencing at some point during their high school years. This is not a prescriptive list, in that there's no expectation that students will complete everything in here. Rather, it's just about putting it all in one place, so that, during those extraordinarily busy high school years, this doesn't fall by the wayside for students and parents. I say that with my parent cap on too. I have 2 in college right now, and I know that feeling sometimes as they're getting closer to whatever their post-secondary plans are, thinking, oh, wait a minute, did I teach them to do that? Did they know how to do that? And I think in this way, it's helpful not just for the students, but also for the parents. And there's, instead of the monthly themes, this is the collection of activities kind of fall into 4 broad domains: taking care of myself, interacting with the world, getting around and navigating, and collaborating with others. And they are all within categories that are very kind of everyday experiences that, again, plug them into real life a little bit more. We know particularly those older students spend an extraordinary amount of time in virtual life. Not that that's the worst thing ever, but it's kind of the amount is displacing some of these things. And so some of the categories in here: grocery shopping, basic cooking, financial independence, basic household, cleaning and repair, advocating for yourself. So, do you communicate directly, when you have an issue, do you communicate directly with your teacher or coach, whether that's a face-to-face conversation or an email, rather than mom or dad doing it for you? Have you ever picked up the phone to make your own appointment, dentist, haircut, something as simple as that? Just kind of acclimating them to those experiences. And again, building their confidence and their competence to do this so that, they know that they can take on experiences that they might feel a little bit uncertain about or not sure of the outcome. They might even feel a little anxious about it. Maybe it's things they've been avoiding, but it's important for them to know that they can try these things and go through those feelings and come out the other side, even if it didn't turn out the way they thought it would, or if it did. That's really the gift that they're getting here. There's also an opportunity to personalize this. They can add their own ideas. So again, this can be as personalized as teachers and students would like it to be. And the peripheral materials included with that high school one are kind of in the same vein as what's in the K through 8th. There is a welcome to parents, welcome letter. Again, anything in there can be shared digitally or hard copy that gives them an overview of what this is all about, gets them reflecting a little bit on remembering all of those kind of out of the school day, perhaps non-academic experiences that also really help them learn and grow just as much as their schooling experiences did. A student welcome, so they get an overview to all of this. A document to welcome administrators and teachers, anybody who might be involved with this, just an overview of the materials included. That document also includes some suggestions on scheduling and delivery. It's very flexible, the pacing and placement of how a high school might implement this. It could be some schools are deciding to absorb it into what their guidance department is doing. I've spoken to some high school educators who are integrating it into an existing course because it fits really nicely there. I've spoken to schools that are using it in their existing advisory period. And I even spoke to a school that said, we think this might be some sort of independent study offering. I have one student who wants to take this on as a capstone project, their capstone project. So lots of possibilities and flexibility on implementation there. The reflection piece on this is also included. We call it the independence check-in. It's just a single page of reflection prompts that a teacher could periodically have the student respond to, depending on what intervals you choose, like every 2 weeks or 6 weeks or 8 weeks, whenever the school or teacher decides to check in with those high school students, have the students actually write their responses to those prompts, or it could serve as a great framework for discussion or conversation, whether that's one-on-one or small group or whole group. And that's generally what's included there. And also an optional family discussion starters that could be tacked on with that parent welcome. It's nothing formal on there, like, sit down at the dining table and say exactly this. It's really just some general conversation prompts for parents who are looking to open or continue that conversation about independence with their teen. And so that is generally what is included with the high school one. I see some questions coming in and I'm going to tackle those for sure. And then after that, I'll open up for that broader conversation. But what I'm going to do first now, I will drop that form link into our chat here so that everybody has that. I will also send it in a follow-up email to you all. So either way, you'll have that. And again, this is the link to the form that just we have you fill out so that we just have some basic information about your school and your tentative ideas about implementation. The reason we keep this connection with educators is, number one, like, we love being able to support you and answer any questions you have. That's really important to us. We want to hear your feedback. If you do try things out, the only thing we ask of educators is keep in touch with us. And what that looks like is you'll get an occasional friendly email from me that just says, hey, did you get a chance to explore the materials? Have you tried them out? There's no pressure to implement the program. Again, we just like to hear that feedback and understand any impact it might be having. If you do try things out and you're noticing impact in your classroom or what you're hearing from other teachers or from your students or parents, please send it my way, jen@lecro.org. You'll get that when I email you too. But that is so helpful. We are grant funded. That's why we're able to share these programs with schools and families for free. So it's really helpful to be able to share that impact with donors and sponsors. And when we share that folder link with you, the only thing, we ask that you don't share it outside of your building. It's really intended for your school. And again, if you encounter other educators or colleagues who are not part of your particular school who are interested, just send them to our website the same way to get access to the free materials. Because again, that just helps us kind of keep tabs on who's using our program so that we are better positioned to serve everybody. And again, be able to obtain that funding to share the materials for free. So let me drop that in here for you right now. And I see a couple of questions here. Okay. Do the parents sign off each month? Great question. I do hear that sometimes, and it's absolutely not necessary. Most schools do not do that. I think it is, I've only heard of maybe 1 or 2 schools doing that. There may be more who do that. That's really up to you. It's not necessary. In assigning this, we encourage schools to not require it as a grade and really put it out there as like, it's highly encouraged that the kids do this or families try it out. So there's not necessarily mandatory participation. And I think that kind of, can help address any concern you might have about having them sign it off. It's completely voluntary for the families to try this. And it's honestly not necessary for 100% buy-in for this program to work. I mean, you're always probably going to have a few families who just, I don't want to think about this, or it's just kind of, not something they're going to plug into for whatever reasons right now. And that's totally understandable. But those students who might not formally be doing it, having those conversations and officially doing something at home, they are there and present for those conversations in the classroom every month. So they are, getting the benefit of those conversations twice a month that are really centered around the value of growing your independence. So I hope that's kind of helpful there. Let's see. Another question here. Diverse student body with certain students who have cultural, societal norms which are different from those we may think of as American. Okay. Do you know of any success stories about reaching families that might be more protective of their children leaning into experiences? Yes. Cultural differences like females not being allowed to explore in the same way as males is an example. Yes. I'll go back to that point about that flexibility. While I can't off the top of my head share a specific story of that, what has resonated with educators I've spoken with who had similar concerns is that flexibility piece of there is no pressure for any family to choose something that might not fit their needs and what they feel is appropriate for their family or their child. Considerations about, who's allowed to roam and how far. Like, obviously we want people to get a little bit more comfortable with that, but, families typically know best of what's truly appropriate for that. And the suggestions and ideas included in those lists include plenty of examples that can kind of be done right at home or just in the proximity of home. So in that way, I think it still allows a lot of, opportunities there to maybe better meet their needs. I'm going to open up the conversation for anyone who would like to do that. I can, switch you to a panelist if you want to stick around for conversation. And keep in touch. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions or need support. You can email me anytime. If you want to set up a one-on-one call to further talk through your particular implementation ideas, that's perfectly fine too.